Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Taste Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about planets in the motherfucking 11th house. Now, planets in the 11th house. Now, before we even get into the motherfucking planets there, let's talk about what's actually the 11th house. Now, I like to say that 11th house is the unfamiliar places and faces house. It's how you conduct yourself in the public arena. But it's also the unknown. Because anytime you walk into a situation that you have not walked into, like a fresh, new, unique situation that you have not been aware of before, it was an unknown situation. So anytime you meet someone you never met before, you are unknown to that person. So I like to say the 11th house deals with a lot of unknown type subjects too. And it can become to abstract thinkers. So when you have a lot of abstract thinkers, they like to think of the unknown. This is why this is like the scientifical house. This is like the house of rareness, uniqueness, originality, unicorn, things of unknown. You know what I'm saying? And this house correlates with Aquarius. Now, you have the air houses, which is the 3rd, 7th, and 11th. So if you need another way of how to understand the 11th house, you can look at it this way. The 3rd house is familiar places and faces and your basic surroundings. You know what I'm saying? So it's how you communicate amongst yourself and others. So a lot of times it's the communication and analyzing house, because you're analyzing what's around you and you're communicating with people, places, or things that surround you. Now the 7th house is the 2nd air house, which is Libra. It's a cardinal air house. So what happens here is, this is how you communicate amongst on a one-on-one level. So the 3rd house, you come from analyzing and communicating with your surroundings and neighbors. Now connecting to each individual on a one-on-one basis, that's the 7th house. You know what I'm saying? So how you relate to others. And the 11th house is how you communicate in general amongst associates, unfamiliar people, familiar people, in general. So think about it as the 3rd house will be your closest neighbors or closest associates who you may see that's familiar. The 7th house is what kind of connection you have one-on-one with them. The 11th house is how you communicate amongst everybody. Just your basic, stubborn, fixed way of communicating amongst everyone. How you look at even communicating, looking at everyone as the same. You know what I'm saying? And then look. So it's how you conduct yourself in the public arena. You know what I'm saying? So the 11th house is how you look at everyone the same, how you got your own basic fixed way of communicating and thinking and analyzing, and how you take from communicating with the familiar, how you communicate with people on a one-on-one basis, and how you take that out into the world to your basic communication style, your fixed way of communicating, which the 11th house is a fixed house. So that's the 11th house. So now, let's talk about the planets. Now the sun. The sun brings light, brings vitality, brings energy, brings attention to. You know what I'm saying? So it brings enlightenment and brings the way a person sees things and what a person actually want to see and what others may see from this person. So the sun right here, the sun doesn't like to be here. The sun is at work here. Because when the sun wants to express the energy, wants to see things, wants to be enlightened, and want to express the way it feels, and wants to enlighten others on how it see things, it has to relate here. It has to communicate here. It has to analyze here. It has to think before actions. So the sun, that's why the sun doesn't like to be here. But there's a positive and negative into everything. So the positive here is the sun gets to be enlightened on new ways of thinking, new ways of analyzing, new ways of communication. 1 second. I'm in the middle of a video. I'm in the middle of a video. But yeah, the sun. Yeah, you good. Now the sun. Now with the sun being here, it's going to illuminate and shine, and it's going to put you in the right proper perspective when it comes to seeing new ways of communicating, analyzing the details and the ramifications. This might take a minute. The ramifications of the broad, the broad perspective of how you communicate with people. It can have you enlightened about humanitarian issues. It can have you enlightened about new ways of how to interpret, analyzing people you know and may not know. It can have you enlightened on how to assess people, like associates and people that you don't know when you're conducting yourself in the public. Like, different communication styles when you're dealing with people in the public arena. Like, you may have went to the mall or going somewhere that you don't usually go, or just in the public in general. Basic people interactions, communication styles, the way they think and the way they analyze. You're able to pick up on these things. You're able to see that first off people, and this is what people may see from you first. This is what people may see from you also. So be aware of that. So a lot of times you may be a light. People may think you sort of unique in a type of way. You got a unique way of communication in some type of way. People see you as being a social butterfly. A lot of times people may see you stubborn, but a lot of people may see you as putting everybody on the same playing field. It's like you don't look at. You're enlightened about humanity in general and how to communicate amongst all people, because it's the house before the 12th house, subconscious. But it's the thinking, it's the collective conscious on the thinking level, not the collective conscious on the emotional level. So right here, with the sun here, you're gonna have you have an understanding of how to communicate with the collective conscious as a whole. So you may even look at family, friends, and even associates all the same, on the same even playing field. You know what I'm saying? You don't treat one person more than the other. Now when you got the moon in the 11th house, now the moon is your emotions, the way you feel, your reactions, the world you live in. But when it's in a house, it's going to bring emotional security, it's going to bring uncomfortability, it's going to bring things that you want. You know what I'm saying? Because the moon is your wants. The moon is your needs. The sun is your wants. So the moon is going to bring with your needs. So with the sun being in the 11th house, a lot of times you may want to communicate, want to know as many people as possible. With the moon right here, you're going to feel comfortable when you're able to do that. You're going to feel uncomfortable when you have to put all eggs in one basket. Like when you have to put all your trust in one person or this, that, and third. When you don't have a lot of other people to connect to do what you really want to do. Right here, this can make you highly uncomfortable. A lot of times you feel comfortable when you're able to communicate, even able to connect with people that you may not have known before, connecting with new people, learning new things, learning new insights. This you are emotionally connected to these things, and this is the world you live in. Also, with the moon right here being in the 11th house, the way you feel, the way your emotions is going to be analyzed. You're gonna want to put it into a box, no matter what sign is in. Like your moon could be in a water sign a lot of times, and that can get chaotic if your moon is in a water sign, but it's also in the 11th house. It could get a little chaotic. But with this, your moon here being in the 11th house in general, is going to make you want to put your emotions and the feelings in some type of analyzed box, in some type of box that when you may feel a certain way, but if that expression ain't in good taste of the situation that you in, you may analyze the situation for what it is and not fully express that, how you feel. You may just have this thought of, this is the way I need to communicate and this is the way I need to be in the situation regardless of how I feel. And then that's the way you apply yourself in situations when you have the moon here in the 11th house, other than just being in the emotion or soaking in the emotion or actually expressing how you feel at the moment. You're going to want to analyze and see if this is the right emotion to feel in the first place. So that's another thing with the moon in the 11th house. But you're going to feel comfortable when you're learning about things of the unknown, putting yourself in unknown type situations, unique type situations, getting involved with unique people, original people that you may not have familiar with before, people you may have just now be introduced with. This will make you comfortable, and you get uncomfortable when you start to be in a situation that's too fixated. Now, when it comes to now, even though this is a fixed house, see, the moon likes to initiate. The moon doesn't like to stay fixed. So when it's in a fixed house, it's going to initiate new thoughts. The emotions and the feelings is going to go through the thoughts and the analyzing and the communicating. So that's why I said it like that. But then let's go to Mercury. Mercury is communication, how you analyze and how you think. Now right here with Mercury being in the 11th house, Now, it likes to communicate, analyze, and think about the unknown. It likes to communicate with. These are people who you don't even know these people. They just come up to you out of nowhere in the public, ask you questions. These are the people who talk to you like they knew you for forever. You know what I'm saying? You may have never seen this person before. They come up telling you their whole life. They come up talking to you like they knew you. They got all this new information about things and stuff like that. These are these type people. Very highly communicative type people. Also, these are scientific people too. They like to analyze. They like to think that that's what the world's supposed to be, based upon communication, and have a ways of connecting with the collective conscious based upon what we know scientifically, or what we can know philosophical wise, or what can we be taught, and what can we uniquely put that in the original way into a new expression out into the world. This is what Mercury in 11th house people like to do. Now, also Mercury in the 11th house. These people may talk too much. These people may tell your business to other people. So watch that also. But for the most part, this is good for business because they're able to freely communicate with people that they even don't know and people that they do know, and able to get their point across and analyze what they actually want to do, depending on what's else is going on in their chart. But just with Mercury being in the 11th house in general, this is what's making them communicate and making them. Yeah, it's going to take me like 9 to 12 minutes.
Or did you go somewhere?
I'll say my daughter.
You can't go to.
That's my daughter.
You can bring her with.
Nah, I ain't gonna bring her out in the cold. I mean, you messing up my video too, man. I don't know, man. Yo, hold on, what you trying to do?
I called Tremaine. He was sick. He went to work still. And he was going to show me something, show me a place to go. You know, the thing he be smoking. And
Hold on. You talking about the hookah? I don't even know what that's either.
Oh, I thought maybe you knew.
Yeah, I don't smoke that shit. You know me, I don't even smoke that. That's it. Yeah, I don't even fuck with that shit. Oh, yeah,
That's why I came by for. I was going to have you
too.
ride with me.
Oh, yeah, I got hurt on shit.
Well,
But yeah, oh yeah, sorry, but you know, you get all distracted. Alright, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But Mercury in the 11th house, you know, people gonna like to analyze and communicate, and this is actually perfect right now because this is actually what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably never seen Demon Chameleon before. You know what I'm saying? Then we talking about some unknown shit in front of the camera. So yeah, this all happens in general. You know what I'm saying? So this right here was a perfect example of my man right here. Might got Mercury in the 11th house. See? Now let's go to all right.
yeah, I'll let you go ahead.
Alright, okay. Lock it. Yeah, it looks. Alright, Venus in the 11th house. Now, Venus is love, appreciation, value, and how you relate to others. Now, it's also compromising and it's also harmonious type. Well, I don't even want to say harmonious type because that's more the Libra sign itself or Taurus itself. I want to say more is more pleasure. So these are pleasures. You know what I'm saying? Same way as Mars is passion, Venus is pleasures. You know what I'm saying? So right here, this is what things you're going to pleasure, things you're going to relate to, things you're going to appreciate, things you're going to value. So yeah, with Venus in the 11th house, what happens here is Venus, these spirits the fuck up out of here. Alright, Venus is going to love, appreciate, and value communication, connecting with others on a communicative level. Being a humanitarian on a communicative level, liking to analyze and think, not just for the sake of a group like the 3rd house, or not just the sake of a one person or another person to relate to like the 7th house, but for the sake of all parties involved, like the 11th house. That's the 11th house. So this is what Venus likes to do. Venus don't like to pick sides. Venus likes to, even if someone else is wrong, Venus likes to look at things from that person's point of view. Venus likes to also compromise. So this is good for business also, Venus in the 11th house, because you're able to compromise with the public. So this what makes you, like for an example, say a person who may have Saturn or Mars in the 11th house, and say y'all both are in a business together, and then you have the Venus in the 11th house. You're going to be more compassionate for the customer than the person who have Mars or Saturn there. The person with Saturn there may not, the person with Saturn there may not care about anything but the money, so they may come to a practical conclusion or a practical way on how to assess the business part of the situation, regardless how a person will feel regardless of how that person will feel. They just will try to get the money out of it. That's Saturn. Now Mars here, a person, whatever they feel passionate about in that business, that's what they're gonna do. So if it's something that they disagree with, they're gonna aggressively catch an attitude with the customer. If they feel like the customer is coming at them with some bullshit, or they're gonna aggressively, or with Mars here, they're gonna come to a situation where they're gonna aggressively find a solution for the situation. And show what passion there and intentions, and you're going to be able to see what this person intends to do to help out the collective. Now with Venus here, Venus will be the person that will give a person a discount, or give a person a you know what I'm saying, or give it for free or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they may get taken advantage of, but for the most part, it's going to make the customer go home feeling like, well, when I come back to that restaurant, when I come back to that store, or when I come back to that business, I want to be in with that person. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Now, when Venus also right here, you're going to have a love and appreciating value for all unknown things. So you're going to pleasure new things, new technologies, new phones, new gadgets, new TVs, or new shows, or anything new. You're going to love and appreciate and value it and relate to it. Now, when it comes to Jupiter, no, let's go to Mars. When it comes to Mars, Mars's intentions, what you intend to do, your passions, your willpower, your aggression. So when you have Mars in the 11th house right here, now Mars kind of does okay here. Mars kind of likes to be here. If it's in the early, like first, second degree, Mars will actually be exalted here. You know what I'm saying? But Mars actually does good here. Mars has a passion, has intentions. And right here, it's able, a lot of times when Mars is in Aries, it does good. When Mars is in Aries and Scorpio, it does good because people get to see the passion on you. They get to see your passion. They get to see your aggression. They get to see your intentions, what you intend to do. So they know if you got bad intentions or good intentions. Or you just work with intentions in general. Aries and Scorpios work with intentions in general. So either they're always paying attention to other people's intentions, or people see their intentions off them. So usually the light side of Mars is Aries. You could see Aries' intentions, and Scorpio hide their intentions. So this will make them secretive. This is the dark side of Mars. So when it comes to it being exalted, or it being in the following sign of being exalted in Aquarius, right here Mars gets to aggressively act on its passions, but not just it being seen or being felt like the Scorpio and Mars, but it actually like the Scorpio and Aries. But here it gets to actually be able to communicate well. So it's able to communicate its passions well. Because a lot of times when people see people do things, it's like a ram or a Scorpio or a scorpion is either stinging its way through or ramming its way through. But with Mars here in the 11th house, it gets to actually have its way with words. It gets to actually communicate. It gets to actually utilize other people for its passions. It actually can analyze and communicate and articulate its passions and aggressions and its intentions well. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times it can be bad intentions, manipulative intentions. You may not even, as an Aquarius, you may not even have intentions to do anything. But since you're so good with words, and if you have Mars in the 11th house, since you're already so good with words, you're going to be able to articulate someone else to do your dirty work, do your intentions for you, do your passions for you. You're going to be able to meet so many people who know how to do what you know how to do. All you have to do is just be there. And for some reason, you get all the attention. You blow up. You look like the one who brought the group together. You know what I'm saying? So Mars in the 11th house right here know how to put things together, know how to, in a communicative way, know how to rowdy up. Now the bad part about it here is you can be an aggressive communicator, an aggressive talker. You know what I'm saying? To the point that a lot of times you become too bossy. You become too assertive and too assertive to what you think you got going on with yourself. Like just to put yourself out there. You may put yourself out there like leap first and express yourself in bad taste. And air signs is really not supposed to do that. Libras may have the best taste. Gemini may have the best mental case. And Aquarius is supposed to have the best fixed the best fixed way. But what happens here is when you have Mars here, a lot of times you don't care about good taste. A lot of times you may just have a passion for what you just for something that you just seen, or the unknown, or something you just learned, or just communicating with people in general. You may have such a passion to the point that you don't care how you're coming across, as long as you express it in a communicative way. So your communication could become sloppy and too volatile at times. You know what I'm saying? So you have to watch that also. And you can become angry when you're not able to communicate the way you want to. Because with Mars here, you're going to have a passion and an aggression. And if you're into something, like if you have an intentions that you really want to do, if it can't come out the way you want, or if you got like people blocking you, you can't express it the way you want to express it, it make you angry at people. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know you're angry at. You just feel like you want to go outside and do something to somebody. No matter who it is. Now, Jupiter is wisdom, knowledge, how you learn, how you in a space-time continuum. So it brings experiences. So wisdom is always positive, whether the experience was good or bad. Whatever you learned out of it is always positive. That's why Jupiter bring benefits. Now, right here, Jupiter in the 11th house. It's going to expand your public persona. It's going to expand the way you conduct yourself in the public arena. So you're going to be seen from people that you may not know. Like people who know you may be like, oh, this is a dumb motherfucker. But people who don't know you may look at you as like a person who may know something that they don't know. May have like a lot of wisdom, knowledge. You may have experienced something that others haven't experienced, and you are able to share your story amongst people you don't know to a certain degree. Also with Jupiter in the 11th house right here, this is going to expand your awareness on the unknown. So the things that people don't care about, and the new things, and people don't, and the subjects that people don't necessarily want to talk about, or new phones, or just new things in general, or things that's unaware to others, or things that's unique. You're going to have a lot of wisdom and knowledge about these things. So anytime there's like a new phone that come out, you know something about it. Anytime there's like a new person who coming around, you can kind of sense what level of consciousness this person is at. You know what I'm saying? This off first glance. This off knowing them. Because the 5th house is the expression house. So the 11th house is the direct opposite house to the 11th house. So what happens here is when you have the 5th house being the expression, and then you have the direct opposite house looking at the expression, what happens here is when you have Jupiter here, you learn from others. You learn from other people's expressions. You learn from other people's ways of carrying themselves, what they're into, things that they're entertained by, their creative measure. And you're able to assess this and see what kind of knowledge base that they have. You know what I'm saying? So you're stepping into the unknown with just assessing this person's expression, and you're kind of analyzing, not analyzing as much as Mercury, but you're kind of broad perspective in this person. That's not a word, but here's the meaning to that. Broad perspectiving. When you're assessing a person's actions and trying to understand why do they act that way in general. So when it comes to the 5th house, that's the house of expressions, a person's creativity and entertainment. So the 11th house is looking directly at that. The 5th house is looking at the 11th house, but when you got a planet in the 11th house, this planet is looking at the 5th house. So you're trying to gain wisdom and knowledge on other people's expression, and you're trying to come to a broad perspective of it, of how the collective conscious of intellect people see these expressions. So you're trying to analyze a person in general. You know what I'm saying? Of why they act that way in general. Now you do this with yourself also. So this makes a person who likes to think and put themselves in good taste when it comes to presenting themselves in the public arena. So this is a person like you like to go out and learn things. You don't like to go out and just to go out and just to see things like Mercury or the Sun. You want to go out and actually understand things and put meaning behind things, and put meaning behind interactions and people you're communicating with and people that you don't know, and all these unique and weird people that you're interacting with. You like gain wisdom and knowledge from it. So that's Jupiter in the 11th house. Now, when we got Saturn is how one gains structure in one's life. It's boundaries and restrictions and limits, and it's where you place them, and it's where you're going to receive them. Boundaries and restrictions and limits. So when you have it in the 11th house, Saturn loves to be here. because it gets to put boundaries and restrictions and limits on other people's ways of communicating, other people's ways of thinking, other people's ways of analyzing. So that way, that favors a having your own fixed way, because can't nobody tell you how to communicate, because you already learned from your basic surroundings, which is your third house. You already know how to communicate on a one-on-one basis, which is the seventh house. So how you communicate in general when you put yourself out in the world should be your own fixed way, your own unique and original way of communicating. Your own fixed way. This is the 11th house. So right here, when you have Saturn here, it's able to do that. It's able to support that, because it's putting boundaries and restrictions and limits on other people's ways of communication and thinking. Therefore, people can't sway you. You can't let a stranger tell you something. You know what I'm saying? It's this, that, and the third. Now, these are the children in the world who are most likely to not listen to strangers than kids who may listen to a kid with Venus in the 11th house may take a piece of candy from a stranger. You know what I'm saying? A kid with Saturn here, their parent didn't have to tell them. They automatically know, don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to this old ass weird looking man. Or don't listen to this old ass bald headed lady. You see what I'm saying? The Saturn in the 11th house child already knows this without the children. Shit, the parent may have to tell the kid who to ease up on. They may do that with everybody. People that they shouldn't do that with in their family. You know what I'm saying? Now, also, with Saturn in the 11th house, you know what I'm saying, you also going to experience a lot of boundaries and restrictions and limits when it comes to conducting yourself in the public. It may make you a little nervous or a little shielded when dealing with people in the public. You know what I'm saying? So this is good for business as an adult, but this is bad as a kid and growing up, because as a kid growing up, you're not able to be free and as spontaneous as you really want to, and without collecting the communication styles that you're supposed to connect with when you're running your race as a kid. When I say running your race, I'm not talking about skin color. I'm talking about as far as your age group, running amongst your generation and being in all perceptions of your generation. If you're being shielded in any type of way or being sheltered in any type of way, you're not going to have that technology as you get older that you're supposed to have to follow through. You know what I'm saying? A big part of your spiritual path is your ascendant, because your ascendant is your first house through your 12th house. Now your sextiles and trines is always going to be your support. So as your personality, your 11th house and your second house is always going to be sextiles. They're always going to be opportunities. So your personality is always going to see opportunities. I mean, your third house and your 11th house. I didn't mean to say your second house, but as far as your personality, your first house, your third and 11th house is always going to be sextiles. Sextiles, opportunities in astrology, for good or bad. So your personality is always going to see opportunities to express itself amongst familiar places and faces and your basic surroundings, which is your third house. It's always going to see opportunities to conduct itself in the public arena. When you go out in the public, or when you go as a kid, you go out to church, or you go to school, or you go to the mall, or you go to the store. You always want to be able to take your personality or your personal issues into that area, right? And then the opposite is how well are you able to conduct your personality with someone else's personality, which is the 7th house, how you relate to someone on a one-on-one basis. You see what I'm saying? So right here with Saturn being in the 11th house, you're always gonna experience boundaries and restrictions and limits when it comes to communication styles. But that's gonna help you even in your life as you get older. It still helps you develop. I got 1 minute left on here. Let me hurry and knock this out. It's gonna help you develop your own fixed way of how to communicate and think. Okay, now look, this camera about to die, so let me knock this out. Now, motherfucking Uranus. Uranus loves to be here. Uranus is home here. It's change, rebellion, and it's also uniqueness and originality. So right here, just gonna make the way you conduct yourself in the public arena is gonna make you unique and original. But you also may experience rebellion and opposition towards others. But this is gonna build you in your life to always make you unique and original the way you present yourself in the public arena. Neptune, dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. So this is gonna make you, when you conduct yourself in the public arena, or when you're obsessing the unknown from a scientific point of view, or when you're being a humanitarian in some way, you're going to be creative, imaginative, and dreamlike. But also, you're going to be illusionary-like. So you're going to throw illusions on people. You're going to trust people you shouldn't trust a lot of times. You're going to, a lot of times, you're going to have to learn how to filter through that. And even if you do have that sense of, oh, I can't really trust this person, you always put yourself in situations where you get proved wrong about something. So you have to make sure you assess people right with the illusion factor that Neptune may put. But it's going to make you creative and imaginative to in business endeavors, how you conduct yourself in the public arena, and also how even you dress in the public. Now, Pluto, wherever Pluto at, it brings into hell, deep transformation, deep desires, deep willpowers, everything of Mars on the deep end. So what happens here is, that's how I drug Scorpio to be on the deep end of Mars. So what happens here is, this is how you always got like a deep sense or a behind the scenes motive of people that you may or may not know. When someone you don't know, you come across them, you always sense that it's something deeper to why you cross this person's path. Or if you in a store and a person walk down the same aisle you walk down, you're constantly thinking it's a reason this person walking down the path, this aisle I'm walking down. It must be because of a deeper reason, a deeper intention.